know who Karl Marx is?
No.
At all.
I've heard that name, oh my gosh.
No.
No.
Nobody knows who I am. I'm Karl Marx.
Karl Marx was a German philosopher. His teachings influenced the rise of the Communist Party in the Soviet Union. He wrote the Communist Manifesto in 1848, which laid out the basic ideas of communism and the everlasting war between the classes.
Karl Marx is.
Yes. He was a Russian dictator, I believe. And he was not liked at all in Russia. And I think he also wrote a manifesto.
Hey, pretty close, actually. I wrote the Communist Manifesto. The Communist Manifesto is Karl Marx's most famous piece of work.
It argues that the rich minority, the bourgeois, had too much power over everyone else, becoming the proletariat.
In this free trade system, it forces the working class to be the bourgeois and agrees for a communist society.
In this community, the proletariat's interests would be of chief importance instead of the bourgeois.
Do you know what socio-economic criticism is?
Kinda. Can't really define it in words.
No, not. I don't think I do know.
I would think that it's, well, sort of what it sounds, that it's criticizing the socioeconomics of the country, the area, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
So media plays in it, and they'll force one view on race, on economic status, blinding its people, censorship's all in there. CBS, ABC News, CBS already says it. They put the BS in CBS.
Excellent. Okay. Really is socioeconomic criticism.
Marxists believe that a work of literature is not a result of divine inspiration or pure artistic endeavor, but it arises out of the economic and ideological circumstances surrounding its creation.
In other words, literature doesn't just come about from inspiration, but it comes from the economic and social circumstances of the time it was written.
The Marxist approach is not concerned with what exactly the text says, but rather what it implies about the economy and the class structure.
These are the steps for critiquing Marxist literature. Step 1 is to know the social class of the author. This will provide insight in the background of the piece and the perspective in which it was written.
Step 2. Analyze what the consequences are of the work finding success. Figure out who the work benefits and who it hurts. If you're reading a piece that portrays the wealthy as evil and the poor as the hero, the work then would benefit the poor.
For the values or the overall themes that support the work. Figure out if the text has a specific set of values that favor one class over the other. For example, you would look to see how the novel treats materialism.
Step 4. Analyze the character's class. Look at how the characters from different classes interact. Figure out if there is one class that's superior to the other.
Marxist approach. Is based on a materialist interpretation of society and its history along with its economic state. It deals with social changes and classes.
As the nature of the times evolves, so does the structure of the Marxist school of thought and literary criticism.
An example of the Marxist approach in The Great Gatsby.
some vision of himself that he had put into loving Daisy. One night in Louisville, 5 years ago, Gatsby found himself at Daisy's house by colossal accident.
I went to her house first with some of the officers from Camp Taylor. I've never been in such a beautiful house before.
His uniform hid the truth that he was a penniless young man, with only that grand vision of himself.
Daisy, don't scamper.
I was not, Mother.
So many dashing young officers here, and from such illustrious families.
I always knew that I could climb. But I could only climb if I climbed alone. I knew that when I kissed this girl, I would be forever wed to her. So I stopped. I stopped and I waited. I waited for a moment longer.
He knew his mind would never again be free to romp like the mind of God. That falling in love would change his destiny forever.
And I just let myself go.
By observing The Great Gatsby with a Marxist approach, we see that people in this time period were defined by and limited by their wealth. Gatsby's entire life purpose was to make money and be financially successful. If he was high on the social ladder and wealthy, then he could have won over his love, Daisy.
The author may choose to use these principles to his benefit. In The Great Gatsby, Fitzgerald makes us see that Daisy would not marry for love. She thought of herself as a girl who deserved the best. How could she marry a simple lieutenant without any real wealth?
Here's an example of the Marxist approach and the help.
Smart. You is important. You is smart. You is kind. You is important. Oh, that's so good.
It's interesting to see how maids during this time often spent more time with the wealthy people's kids than the actual parents. This was common during the time for maids to teach the children and help raise them while they were working at the house and while the parents were busy working or socializing.
Put Mom in a chair before she breaks a hip.
I'm not deaf yet, Billy.
Hey, girl.
Oh, Minnie, will you see if Aileen has some of that ambrosia?
Hold on, those are Miss Hilly's. She look like the winning horse at the Kentucky Derby. All them flowers and bows.
Got that paprika on her.
Oh. Forgive me, Lord, but I'm gonna have to kill that woman, Aileen. Now she going to putting pencil marks on the toilet paper.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. But I carry paper in from my own damn house. That fool don't know.
This clip shows the imagery of different social classes, the Southern wealthy white woman and the enslaved poor black woman. Of issues that the classes have between each other. This scene shows that Minnie Jackson, the maid, got in trouble for using the white woman's bathroom toilet. So now they mark the toilet paper so they'll catch her next time she uses it.
By observing the help with a Marxist approach, we see that race also played a huge role in the socioeconomic status during this time period.
African American people were considered to be at the low end of socioeconomic status and were made to be servants.
The upper class during this time period was corrupt because their status was shown by their ability to own a personal servant.
In conclusion, we hope you've realized Marxist theory is based off of social economic status and class structure. I'm Karl Marx.